Hi guys, welcome back to Brush It Off, discussions of art, history, and Christ our Lord with Raven.artist. This episode is entitled Harry Potter. Yep, you heard it right, folks. Harry Potter. You know what? I think for the sake of the theme, I should go ahead and put these on. And you know what? I found this paintbrush. All right, and here we go. So I've always enjoyed Harry Potter. I've read all the books, I've watched all the movies, and I just always enjoyed the fantasy genre in general. So I do have quite the collection of fantasy novels and things like that. Today I will be discussing three things in this podcast. The first thing is, should Christians watch Harry Potter? And the second thing is, why I enjoy Harry Potter. And the third is my thoughts on the casting for the new Harry Potter series. While I discuss these topics, I will be illustrating some CD cases for the Harry Potter movies that I have. I had just recently ordered the collection, and the case that was provided was really too tight for the CD. So I just thought, why not illustrate my own CD cases and make it a part of this podcast? So I hope you enjoy these little illustrations while I discuss these topics today. So to answer the second one first, yeah, I enjoy Harry Potter mainly because of the storytelling, right? I'm an artist, so I enjoy the illustrations. I enjoy the storytelling. It's just a great piece of art. I mean, JK Rowling did an amazing job at telling the story. Um, she has quite the imagination. So I do admire her for that. And so that pretty much covers that topic. Now, on to the topic on whether Christians should watch Harry Potter or follow Harry Potter. It really just has to deal with the matters of your conscience. So if it's something that weighs on your conscience, then you probably should not be involved in that situation. For me, I watch it strictly for entertainment purposes, but for some people, they completely fall into this rabbit hole. I know some Potterheads who, just completely submerge themselves in Harry Potter. They have Harry Potter everything, they do the cosplay, they have visited all of the Harry Potter sites, like, the one in Universal Studios, and they've, done anything and everything. They visited all of the places where Harry Potter was filmed and things like that. There's some people who just really go all out. And at that point, you are idolizing. That is called idol worship. When you begin to just submerge yourself into one particular thing, and it is all consuming, and if you didn't have it, you would just like not be happy anymore, right? So the only thing we should put that much effort into is our creator, right? We should only surround ourselves and submerge ourselves and give praise to our creator. If you do that to anything other than the creator, it is considered idolizing. It's idol worship. The word says in Psalm 135:15 through 18, that idols of the nations are silver and gold made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, nor is there breath in their mouths. Those who make them will be like them, and so will all who trust in them. And this clearly means that we should, by all means, avoid idol worship. I would like to point out that people can be idols too. This is just to say, idolizing or putting your faith in things other than your creator causes you to lose sight on what matters most, which is your connection to God. Deuteronomy 18:10 through 11 states, let no one be found among you who sacrifices his son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft, or casts spells, or who is a medium or spiritist, or who consults the dead. So God says, let no one be involved in any of those things. So obviously, if Harry Potter somehow urges you to get involved in those things or spikes some curiosity to start trying to engage in those things, then I would highly encourage you to stop watching Harry Potter, stop reading Harry Potter because it's something that tempts you. Again, it's all about your conscience. And if you can't just watch Harry Potter or read Harry Potter for the sake of entertainment, and it might cause you to stumble, I highly encourage you to stay away from it. It's one thing to watch a story from a standpoint of just being entertained or just learning about a new perspective. And it's another thing to start actually practicing out things that God strictly forbids. It's evident, it's in the Bible, it's in the Word. And so I do want to stress that. I do not in any way encourage anyone to be involved in witchcraft or any of those things that the scriptures clearly state to stay away from. It's about your ability to just watch something for the sake of entertainment and to always keep in mind what our Creator wants for us to live in a righteous way and to protect us from things of the enemy. That's essentially what the word is about. It's not about control, it's about your protection. And when you get involved in those things, you are subjecting yourself or making yourself vulnerable to things in the spiritual realm that you just don't understand. But God knows because He's God, He's our creator, and He loves us. He's righteous and pure and holy, and He wants us to be the same way. All right. And moving on to the final topic of the cast selection for the upcoming Harry Potter HBO series, we have Dominic McLaughlin as Harry Potter, Arabella Stanton as Hermione Granger, and Alastair Stout as Ron Weasley. So, according to my research, I think they did a great job with the trio. Um, as we know, JK Rowling is from the UK, so right, ideally her characters would be from a place that she's familiar with. And of course, right, we want the series to be book accurate. And based on the descriptions here, it looks like their selection is pretty good, right? So we have Dominic McLaughlin from Scotland. Okay, it says he's a Scottish child actor. He appeared in a film called Grow and a BBC children's action adventure series called Gifted. Um, well, and it looks like that's going to be released in 2025. Arabella Stanton, she is 11 years old and she is British. And she's best known for portraying Matilda Wormwood in Matilda, the musical, in London's West End. So she's got some acting history as well. And Alastair Stout is also British. And it doesn't seem like he has a lot of previous acting experience. He was only spotted in a commercial. Um, he was the son at dinner in the closing seconds of a potatoes commercial. So he doesn't have much experience, but I mean, it would make sense if he's only like 11 or 12. So this could be his chance to prove his abilities as an actor. So, um, as far as physical characteristics, right, like the physical character traits that J.K. Rowling describes in her books, yeah, like the description matches what these actors look like, right? Harry Potter would have dark hair, right? McLaughlin's got dark hair, and it looks like he has potentially green blue eyes. In the books, we know Harry Potter's eyes are described as green. His eyes look like they could be blue, but um, right? Daniel Radcliffe's eyes are clearly blue. He didn't have green eyes. So I don't think a lot of fans care about that. Um, Arabella Stanton's got wavy hair, right? And her hair in the book is described as like bushy, like really thick, almost like fro-like hair, which is why a lot of people assumed, right, that Hermione would be um cast with a black female actress, but this girl, she looks like she's got some melanin, right? She's not pale. And she's got some wavy hair. So you can definitely tease it, right? Like you can work with any hair that has any wavy texture, curly texture. You could kind of make her hair have that bushy appearance that JK Rowling describes for Hermione. And Ronald Weasley, right? He's got to have the red hair. Alistair Stout definitely has red hair. And it's like a wavy texture as well. But yeah, he definitely makes the cut with the red hair. All right, so that concludes the trio. There are two more actors that have been selected for two more characters. We have John Lithgow as Albus Dumbledore, and we have Papa Essiedu as Professor Snape. So I'm sure anyone who's been following the HBO cast selection for the new upcoming Harry Potter series has heard all of the controversy regarding the casting for Professor Snape. So Lithgow, we all know, and he's right been in this business for years. So nobody thinks he will have any problems pulling off Dumbledore's character, which is great. I think the selection is fine. I think the selection works. As for Papa Essiedu, he has also had a great acting career. He was nominated for one Primetime Emmy, but he has three wins. He was the leading actor for The Lazarus Project in 2024, and he was also the lead actor for I May Destroy You, and that was back in 2021. So he's got a great resume. He has the ability to act. And if we are looking at ethnicity, right? Because ethnicity has to do with what country you are born in. Papa Essiedu is British. He is from the UK, which means that he would match the ethnicity of Professor Snape. I mean, most of the characters in JK Rowling's books are from the UK. So that's checked off. Based on his name, right? His full name is Papa Kwaki Essiedu. And I would assume that does come from African origins. So he probably identifies as African British, right? British African. Just like you have African American, it would be like African British. Is that, I don't know if that's a thing, but essentially, I myself don't identify as African because all I know is the United States. So, a lot of people want to use African American to describe Black people in America, but essentially, I can only identify with my American ethnicity because that's where I'm from. That's where I was born. My whole ancestry of Africa has been lost, and that's another story for another day. So, if we're looking at a person's ethnicity, we need to look at where they are born, right? What do they know? He is British. So that point checks off. What a lot of people are having issues with is the fact that he is of African descent. I mean, he is Black. So I personally don't have a problem with this. Again, this is a work of art. We need to look at this as um, a work of art through another person's perspective. And yes, you want to be book accurate. That pays respect to the author and the art that she has created and the work that she has written. However, people are people. We can't have a person in the real world always match something from a fantasy world. So we need to be open minded about that. What matters is his ability to portray the character of Snape. His character has more to do with his personality than what he looks like. Yeah, I mean, the book spends a lot of time talking about his pale skin and his bat like appearance. Well, at the end of the day, again, it's just for entertainment purposes. And I think if you are getting so upset that you're not even going to watch the series, you're not even going to watch the work that someone has put effort into creating for your enjoyment, then you have an issue with idol worship. You are so consumed with Harry Potter and JK Rowling's books that if it's not perfect and it's not how you imagine, you're just going to throw a tantrum. I think, that's something that we need to pray about. So, I personally am happy with the cast selection so far. I'm excited to see how Papa Siedu can portray the character of Snape. I'm looking at it from the perspective of an artist, and that's the way I believe everyone should be looking at this new series that's coming up. If you enjoy the storytelling, you will enjoy the series and enjoy the excitement of seeing how these characters can bring the story to life. All right, so with that said, that is a wrap, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Brush It Off, discussions of art, history, and Christ our Lord, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, love, and God bless.